Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. This is the card I have to share with you today. It's a very simple happy birthday card, but I wanted to point out here you can see the stamping goes from light to dark and you get that ombre effect through the sentiment. Hopefully you can see that with the camera, and I wanted to show you how to easily achieve this. So let's get started. Stamps that we're going to use is a favourite of mine, Biggest Wish. And we're going to use Happy Birthday, very simple. I have things set up on my Stamparatus. Now I know that this is no longer available, but as I've said many a time, I've got it, I love it, and I'm going to continue to use it. So if you can use any kind of stamp positioning tool, this makes life a lot easier. You can do it with your blocks as well, but I do like to use this. Now I'm going to stamp in my lighter colour here, which is Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to go down, stamp, that's fine, close that up, and I'm going to give my stamp a little clean before I put the next colour on top. Just give it a dry off with a cloth. There we go. Deeper colour I'm going to use is Calypso Coral. Now you could use a blending brush to add this, but I'm just going to use some sponge. I find it works best for you. And I'm just going to sponge this ink onto the bottom of my stamp. And I'm just going to do it on the bottom of my image. And I'm going to stamp that and see what we have. Yeah. Looks good, but I think I'm going to deepen it up a little bit more. And you can just keep on doing this until you're happy with what you achieved. Yeah, I like that. So I've got ink all over me, unfortunately, as you can tell. I'll give it a little clean up as well using the chamois. And I'm going to close this up. And I am going to go one more time just quickly with some more Flirty Flamingo, just to fill in any gaps. Like that. Okay, and you can see the ombre effect. I don't know how well it comes up on the camera, but it is definitely there. Okay, so I'm going to take this out, and need to give this a good clean so we can take this out of our Stamparatus. Sorry about the squeak, not much I can do about that. Simple chamois is invaluable, I find, in getting everything nice and cleaned up. So let's move these out. And then I have here the spiral die, and this is a background die, and I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to take out my, so as you can see it's red rubber. And I'm just going to put this in position somewhere around there. Pick this up with my lid and find a piece of basic white cardstock for a background, which is here. And I'm just going to keep it roughly there. And we're going to stamp this one in Lost Lagoon. It's a lovely background pattern. Give it a really good ink up, down, and give it a really good press. It's a big stamp and needs a good press. You're not going to see a lot of this, but it does add something to the card. So I'm just going to add a little bit more here. Give it another good press. Close up my ink pad for now. What I do sometimes if I want to get some more welly for my pressing is use my punch. And this just gives it, helps to give it a little bit more punch. Excuse the pun. There you go. Okay, so we've cleaned everything up now. We can start to assemble our card. I did cut our panel down here slightly to 13.85 by 9.5 centimeters. And I cut our sentiment down as well. Now we're just going to do a little bit of inking around. So I'm going to get here my sponged augers. And I'm going to use some Lost Lagoon, and I'm just going to ink around the edges here. I know we've got our stamping in Calypso Coral, but it'll still look good against the background. You'll see. And then I'm going to also just ink around this panel here. Just catching the edges so you get rid of that white core. Okay, just like that. Simple and easy. Okay, so let's close this up, and now we're ready to assemble our card. So this was our previous one. This one was Calypso Coral based. This is actually going to be Lost Lagoon. And I've got some pieces here of basic white cardstock. I've got two here, and they measure the same, 14.35 centimeters by 10. And one's going to go on the inside, and one's going to go on the outside. So really simple. So let's put this one on the inside for our insert. And then this one's going to go here on the outside. Just like that. And then we're going to have our stamped background going on top. Actually, first we're going to put this across. So let me put, this is the Ink Botanicals Designer Series paper. And this is just a strip that measures about 5.5 centimeters. And it would have been easier to do this before I put the glue down, but it's not by any means the end of the world. Just going to put a strip along there, cut off the overhang, like that. Try not to stick it to your cardstock, and then put this down in the center like that. Okay, and you can see here I've got a few little pieces of floral of foliage, and this just uses the bow punch, and I'm just going to punch out a couple here just for some scrap basic white cardstock, just like that. So set that aside, and that. Now we're going to pop this up on some adhesive sheet. So this is our adhesive sheet. You could also use some dimensionals on the back, or edges of the dimensional, whatever. I find this just a little bit easier. Get rid of the backing, and then you can see here where I used my Lost Lagoon, so it will pop from the background. I'm going to slide it down. I'm not going to stick it yet properly on the one side, because I do want to add a bit of foliage. I'm just going to add some glue down the center. I'm going to try the other glue. I have two here. One keeps, I don't know what's wrong with it, just keeps throwing a tantrum at me. So we're just going to put a little bit of white there, and I'm going to use another big one here. try not to put my fingers in the glue. Maybe like that. And I'm going to fill in with some of this little smaller pieces. And I'm purposely not putting a lot of glue so that they can still fluff up a bit. So yeah, that will do. There you go. They're the 2 cards. You can see the ombre stamping. I hope that's been useful, how you can easily get an ombre effect on your card. You could have done the same on the background as well, if you so wish, start from a darker colour through to a lighter colour as well. If you have any questions, do ask. If you want to know anything more about the project, the supply list, measurements, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.